Catch me in the lab with my speakers loud. Never been one for commercial sound. I'll constrain the music, independent, proud. Aesthetic and elect is a label found, representing our cause. Hold the applause. Listen in as I begin to get the message across. I never been a bitch, I never been a fraud. Bringing MCs to light, tearing down the facade. Speak, listen, grow. Speak, listen. All right, everybody, welcome back. This is episode 4 of Beers in the Air. I am your host, Gibbs.
Boom, 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 boom. And I'm your co-host, Ziggy Braun.
And today we bring you another episode of Beers in the Air from Aesthetic Intellect Records with our special guest of the day, Smiley.
What up, what up?
Smiley. I got to give a special round of applause to this guy. Got to.
This is
man, you're making me blush.
Probably going to be our best episode yet. The guy is very articulate. He's going to break some stuff down for us. He's going to give us some gold on pure fuckery, I'm sure, as well as just a very solid interview. You guys are going to get to know and love him, hear some of his music, and just follow the guy throughout his path as an artist. Smiley, welcome, my friend.
What's going on, man?
How have you been?
You know what? I've been all right. I can't complain. Just chilling, just trying to get through life. It's kind of strange, though, with this microphone, in my face. I'm not really used to all that, but I'll try to get past it, try to get through it.
Right on, man. Well, we know you. We know what you do, who you are.
Right.
Kind of explain to everybody else who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
Well, I'm a human first, man. First and foremost, I'm a human. And basically, I just try to tell, life as I see it through my 32 years on this earth, the good, the bad, the fucked up, whatever it is, I just try to convey it in a way that everybody could understand it. Not just me, not just the people that I know, but everybody in general.
That should be a given. Almost,
right.
You would think with most human beings, but
right.
That's really not the case.
Not the case at all.
And when you do find people like that, those are the people that tend to be the most interesting. And
man of mystery right here, man. It's kind of hard to let it all out on this thing because
It's a man of mystery. Like I'm over here trying to bait him already. I can feel there's gonna be a challenge. Last week was a challenge. We had Saint Even from the Monkey House last week. And he's a very personal guy as well, so me trying to bait him into giving us some good stuff.
Some deets.
Some good details. He would kind of just go off on some tangent to where I was like, okay. But that wasn't my question,
Right.
All right, let's start off with a little bit of ice breaking. Where'd the name Smiley come from?
Oh, man. So check it out, man. I was a knucklehead back in the day, right? And I used to kick it with knuckleheads, and we were up to no good, and I smile sometimes when I'm in nervous situations, and that's the only name that the homie could think of is, I'm going to call you Smiley, OG Smiley. Look at you over there smiling. And then, it caught on, and I've just kept it throughout all these years, and I've tried to change my name to, Lazarus, because, when old shit dies and you're resurrected as something new, you try to change your name and your ways like my homie Scum did, dealing drugs. But Smiley's just stuck.
I think Smiley fits you so well, though. Because I've known you for, 7 years or something now. Yeah. And I don't think I've ever seen you without a smile, man. I don't think I've ever seen, the other...
You saw him on a good
The other side as well.
It's a good day. Yeah. I know could
share some stories.
Exactly, share some stories where he's seen me without a smile. But for the most part, nowadays I try to keep a smile on my face.
I mean, it's usually not for just the sake of being pissed off or anything. I mean, you usually have
a valid reason,
pretty solid reason to feel the way you do.
Right.
But for the most part, I've known you for fucking years now, man. I can't even
probably over a decade. Shit,
over 10 definitely. Yeah. And I know for a fact that when you think of Smiley, you think the big jolly Smiley guy. Not too much of a big guy no more. He's got his
got his stuff down to a nice slim weight. He's making me feel self-conscious. You know what I mean? Like,
Put in
damn,
that work, man. I put in that work.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Drinking too much beer.
How is that beer, by the way?
It's pretty good.
Speaking of beers, our beer of the week this week. I
You got
can't pronounce it.
I'm gonna give my best go at pronouncing it. I'm gonna say Einstock Olgerd. Let's go with that. That sounds good. It's an Icelandic toasted porter, actually brewed in Iceland too, which is pretty cool.
Just the name itself, not the Einstock Olgard or
but the
whatever.
Icelandic toasted porter. That sounds pretty.
Icelandic toasted porter is enough for me to be like, all right.
That sounds
see what
yeah.
That shit sounds like a fancy dessert. Like you would find it like at a I don't know, upscale restaurant. Like, could you please hand me the Icelandic toasted porter,
please? I feel like it would be a good dessert drink to have after eating like a big ass turkey leg.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, hell yeah,
like whatever Icelandic Vikings
like those
would
ones
typically
they have
do
at the fair, the barbecued turkey legs. Yeah,
That's what I imagine myself eating before or during the time that I'm drinking
actually,
this.
that is a very good description of what this beer is like a dessert beer. Because I'm not too big on porters. I forgot that they're kind of got that like coffee
sweet,
flavor.
sweet coffee type taste.
Like if you're looking for a dessert type of beer, this
is
kinda,
definitely a good one.
That, or you can get one of those like.
But we'll get a few more beers in us before we have a kind of concrete statement about it. But it is cool. It won 3 medals. I don't know what those medals are, but they won 3 medals for something.
3 of them.
That's 3 more than I got for my beer.
They won 3 medals, and I'm gonna drink 3 of the beers out of the 6-pack, so it goes together nicely. So today we're gonna be drinking this Einstock Icelandic toasted porter. While we're interviewing the man Smiley himself here, we're gonna have another segment of good old pure fuckery. We're gonna have the infamous question that we drop every week.
The infamous controversial question.
and I'm ready for it. Y'all slip it, man. Scum, I'm coming for you.
Better watch yourself, scum. All right, this has been the intro, guys. I'm gonna drop you in some sneak peek of the Smiley album. That's his forthcoming album later this year. And then we're gonna get
Y'all
straight
ain't
into
ready.
the interview.
Y'all ain't ready to have your minds blown.
No need to catch my breath, homie, say it from the chest. I'm ripping, I'm tipping, I'm slipping, I'm chopping them down to complex division. Derision I'm giving, simpletons I'm hitting, flipping is written, leaving them wishing, till they grasp my vision. Blinded by facts, systematic, dramatic, literary, coal miners, canary, the dead could get buried. I speak, I hear, I see. Dimensions and realms can't waste your knees. Philosophical me, I ponder on what's over yonder. Erratic, dramatic, charismatic, I have no control. My soul illustrates the words in the story being told. Steadily waiting, time is wasted, never complacement. Placement of the adjacent seam divides hope, reality, and dreams. Welcome to my magic microphone. Dynamic, hypercordial, condenser ribbon can't capture my flow. Phantom power on these cowards as I write and I am big pentameter, I'm blessed. The stamina I possess. Welcome to my magic microphone. Dynamic, hypercordial, condenser ribbon can't capture my flow. Phantom power on these cowards as I write and I am big pentameter, I'm blessed. Yes. Welcome to my magic microphone. Dynamic, hypercordial, condenser ribbon can't capture my flow. Welcome to my magic microphone. Welcome to my magic microphone.
I don't forget now, just syllables falling out of my mouth. Welcome to my magic microphone. Welcome to my magic microphone.
We're here for the interview of Smiley. That was a clip from his song from his forthcoming album later this year in 2018. He hasn't decided when, but he knows it's going to be this year.
Yep.
That was Magic Microphone. Produced by our very own Ziggy Braun.
Thank you.
No, thank you, man. I
Hey,
appreciate
anytime,
that.
man.
Yeah, that's an amazing song. I got the honor of recording it, mixing it down, and it's one of those songs where as an engineer, you'll be given the opportunity to record really good people, and you'll also be given the opportunity to record not so good people. Smiley's one of the good people you get to record. Like I get to sit there and listen to that, and like kind of just break it down and listen to it and over and over and over again, and I still like to listen to it. Some stuff I'll get through the mix down, the master, and I won't listen to it again because I'm like, fuck, dude, finally that's over. There's been times where my wife is like, what the fuck are you listening to?
Why are you
Quit
still listening to
this."
it? Yeah, that beat was super fun to make too, because I appreciate when people approach me, artists approach me, and just say they want a beat. Like nothing specific, nothing in particular, just I want a beat. It allows me to just kind of go in with like my own free reign. But I did take into consideration stuff that Smiley mentioned that he was interested in, because we had a conversation one night and we talked about like jazz.
Yeah,
we talked about jazz for a while. We talked about Clarissa Explains It All, and that's why I threw that.
You remember that, huh?
I do. That's why I threw it in there.
Yeah, see, I figured, I produce, and I've made beats for other people. I've made beats for myself, but for this album, I really wanted to be something different, and I figured, man, damn, I just got your motherfucking government name.
We'll bleep
check it out.
We'll
check
bleep
it out.
We'll bleep it out.
Ziggy B over here, man. I figured me and him, we kind of have the same mind state when it comes to like artistry and music. We vibe on a lot of levels that other people, just don't understand. And to mention that, since I'm speaking about that, you told me to check out Childish Gambino's album, right?
Right.
I checked it out, man, and my mind was blown.
Because the internet album, the one with like the holographic,
the one you told me about, and it has Redbone on it. And, the brand new Childish Gambino one. Because I wasn't a fan, man, and
because you didn't expect that from me.
I did not,
which is crazy.
I did not. Yeah. But that goes like to say that me and Ziggy B, we got the same kind of like. I'm an abstract dude, man, and. You could tell with some of the beats that you have on the upcoming album. But the thing is, I'm used to my own style. You know what I mean? So
right.
I kind of wanted a different approach. I wanted to, have this album something different than what I've made in the past. And I figured, since me and you are kind of like the same as far as like when. I'm kind of out there, and I feel like when I heard you say watching Pootie Tang on Laserdisc with 2 Chainz and Luke Kane, I said, damn, hey, people won't understand that, but I understand it, my friend, I figured who better than to hit up for a beat, and I appreciate it. I feel like I couldn't have came as hard as I did it on my own beat, so with that being said, there it is. I don't know, shit.
Yeah, there's like a certain style you bring out of yourself when you produce for yourself.
Right.
And then there's almost like a challenge of I don't know, maybe it's people that do produce for themselves that have this challenge, but like obviously people that don't produce, they just kind of rap over whatever, but I feel the challenge, like if I'm not producing for myself, it's almost like I got to bring a different side of me out. Like I feel like every time I'm over a Ziggy beat, I bring this new level of me because like it's not the same one that I'm gonna bring on my beat because it's kind of like a different style, BPMs, all that stuff. So it's like
anywhere from BPM to types of drums that you use in it to types of plugins that you put on stuff, samples, anything like that. Yeah,
just the sheer vibe each producer brings.
The rhythm of the hi-hat, the pop of the snare, whether they compress their drums or they like the raw natural sound, whether they put a reverb on the snare or they only reverb every other snare hit. It's all something different, man.
Dropping the jargon.
Every other snare hit.
But you know what? I just gave you a little secret of mine, so you can't have them all. That was just one.
The audio heads, the audio heads out here listening are gonna hear you like, man, this man knows. I told you this guy is articulate. He knows. Like it's not gonna be like, oh yeah, I just like this style of beat. Like this man, he knows what he likes to hear, and he can make it himself. He's an artist. We bring artists on this show.
I try to be, man. I'm a human first and foremost, man, and then I'm an artist.
speaking of the human known as Smiley, formerly known as the artist, as an artist, we're not just talking hip hop. You also have a very fruitful, colorful history in punk.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, actually, growing up, I wasn't just I didn't hear just one type of music. You know, my parents, you know, my house was like Soul Train 1 minute, then it was like you know, some folk music, you know, classic rock, reggae. You know, we had hip hop going on, a lot of funk. I remember, you know, as a kid, driving in my pops' Volkswagen bus, listening to man, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Listening to James Taylor, man. I see fire and I see rain. You know, I remember moonwalking across my mama's kitchen like I was Michael Jackson. You know, my musical taste it was pressed into me. It was formed in me at an early age, and you know, when I became aware. Let me back up a little bit. Not aware, but when I was able to not just listen to music that was in my household, when I had friends that were into different things, and you know, other people would be like, "Oh, you're tripping," you know, what is that? I could sit back and be like, you know what, I kind of appreciate that, because not that I've heard this before, but it's pulling something out of me. I could vibe with this. I feel it, you know, and that's what the whole punk thing, you know, came into effect. I was probably about 14 years old. I went to my first punk show. I really didn't even understand what punk was at the time, man. I just know a couple of my friends listened to it. I would hear my thing is snares, you know, I would hear the snare. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
What was the show that you went to?
My very first show, it was, and I love this band to this day. I actually posted a Instagram video of me rocking out my car. Man, it was Backside. I'm not sure if you guys heard, you know that? No? Oh, man. Check out Backside, man. Disconnected, Misdirected. That album is like a classic. But I went and I showed up and I only knew like 2 people there, but the scene was just crazy. You know, like everybody embraced me, and it was just like I felt at home. And for a good like 10, 12 years, that was my home, you know. But even though I listened to punk, I still stayed, you know, with my heart and music in general. You know, I still listen to a diverse, a cornucopia of different styles, you know. Even within the subculture of punk, I love anarcho-punk, man. Gutter punk was my thing. The Casualties, A Global Threat, The Unseen, you know. You name it, you know, I listened to it, you know. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so your newfound love for punk eventually leads you to start participating in punk music as a musician.
Yeah.
You kind of want to give us a little backstory on your punk band, Spitting on Cops?
Oh man, that was the people's punk band. That wasn't just mine. That was for the people. But to talk about Spitting on Cops, man, I would have to talk about all the other bands I was in. You know, I would have to talk about Elbow Riot. You know, I would have to talk about Too Smart for Brains. You know, I'd have, you know,
I like that name.
Those names are hard.
Neighborhood Nuisance. Shout out to the Montoyas. You know.
Were all those bands kind of originated up here too, or were some of those bands down?
No. I've been up here since '95.
Okay.
You know, Yeah, so Elbow Riot was high school, right? So I went and seen Backside and was like, man, this is crazy. This is dope. You know, like I'm with this. You know, I like this movement. They're against racism. They're about stomping out Nazis and all this shit, man. So a couple of my friends, we started this punk band called Elbow Riot, and it was crazy. We lived in like a little gated community, and we would get it was like the neighborhood patrol, but the neighbors would call on us for us disturbing the peace all the time, man. And it was cool. We played some shows up here in the Victorville High Desert area, and we had a good following. It was cool, but you know, just like everything in life, nothing's forever. So, you know, it kind of dissolved, and we all went our own separate ways. Too Smart for Brains was it was a 2-piece band actually. It was me on guitar. And my little brother, he played bass and he sang. And it was pretty cool, you know. We didn't play any shows, we just jammed, you know. And I remember one time we were jamming and my brother was like he was like, you know, Too Smart for Brains was his stuff. He loved it, you know, because he was part of something. And he recorded it, like he set up a camera and he recorded it, and I kind of got mad. I was like, what the hell, you know, don't record this ever again, you know, because to me music, so check it out. I don't know where I was going with that last part, but to me music is like music is for the people. Music should be free. Music, like, I don't believe that the state that music's in now is a healthy state. You know, I feel like there's a lot of bastardization of the purity in which music stood for in the beginning.
Like the purpose of music.
The purpose of music
from the beginning.
is
right.
lacking substance. It's sick. It's sick. I mean, of course, you could, amongst the illness, you could probably find some health and some strength and, you know, a healthy body, but the body in whole is sick. It's sick, man. I mean,
because I feel like nowadays people sort of have a different mindset going into the music industry than they did back in the day.
The way I see it is, and I know Gibby over here, the Gibmeister, Gibbs Audio, whatever you want to call yourself. Me and him kind of clash on this because my music should be free all the time. I never want anybody to have to pay for a penny of my music. I feel like, you know, cause shit, man, I was homeless at one time, and you know, I remember, you know, I didn't have money to eat, and if I feel like there was times where the only thing that kept me sane was music, so it is not fair to withhold something so precious like that over $1 bill. You know, if my music could help somebody, if you're going through a hard time, you ain't got a penny to your name, and you want to listen to my music, have that shit. Download it, pirate it, steal that shit out of a car. I don't care. You know, come to my house, knock on my door, I'll give you a CD, because I don't care. I did that shit when I was in the punk band. You know, and Spitting on Cops, when we first started, MySpace was big, right? So what I did is we recorded a demo out in Palmdale. It was like in a home studio. It's pretty clean, man. It was a cool ass spot. But we paid, and I paid a large portion of my pocket for this. And I didn't charge not a penny. I put it on MySpace with the little title saying that if you want this music, all you got to do is send me your address, and I'll send it to you. I'll even pay the postage. And I did that shit. And I was shipping shit to Europe. I was shipping shit to Australia. You know what I mean? I did that because I feel like music should be free. all the time. All the time. You know? Sorry, Gibby.
It's all good. I mean, we've had this discussion, and it's not like I'm in it just to make a buck, you know.
No, I feel you.
Know, we broke it down, and like
we did.
It costs money to make money, and
Right.
Yeah,
everyone should at least be able to break even.
And that was a good conversation we had the other day. You know, it's kind of you got to look at it from two different perspectives. So I think it was.
It was, and like I said, you know, like I told you, I'm not asking for shit for free, and I'll pay my way, and I understand your position, and it's a total respectable position. But when you got people like, I don't know, the president of Sony Music or whoever the hell he is, whatever, some big record label where they're cheating the artist out of their own music and reaping the benefits, that shit should not be going on. That shit is unacceptable. That shit is
being used as a puppet.
Right, but it's beyond that, because it's not only because once you do it to one person, and I don't know, cut that shit. I don't know what I'm about to say. I don't even know, man.
You're making a lot of sense, man. It to me, what you're getting at is
I just get so hyped, you know, because music is so is like a passion for me. Like it's what makes my heart beat. Is what fuels my soul, and you know. So I get to where like I try to speak before my mind even has the words in my mouth, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just know that that's how I feel. And I think it's because of my punk background, like I'm against the system and everything that it stands for, and that's just it. I don't know, man. But spitting on cops, let's go back to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I know my man Ziggy B, he was a fan. So I was in a band with my brother. You know, we weren't really doing nothing. We were looking for a drummer. I went to see let me see, Guttermouth, I think, at Reflections. And
Reflections.
yeah, you remember that place?
Oh
Yeah,
boy, E40 played a show there.
Yeah, he did.
E40 played a show at Reflections.
Circle Jerks played there too, man. Greg Gannon, Black Flag played there. I met A.I.R from Bad Brains over there at Reflections. But I was over there, and I was just spreading the word. Hey, me and my little brother, we got this band, Too Smart for Brains. We're looking for a drummer. And the show went good. I was watching Guttermouth. It went crazy like usual. Big old mosh pit. Crazy stuff going on, you know. And I get a call like a week later. I think it was Big Mike who called me. And he played in other bands like Barefooted Primates, Redheaded Stepchildren, Drunken Hooligans.
I love
names.
the name of punk.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Barefooted Primates.
Yeah.
That's so.
yeah. So check it out. I got a call from him, and he was like, "Hey, I heard you play guitar." I was like, "Yeah, I do." He was like, "Well, check it out. We're starting a punk band, man." And you gotta think, you know, I'm like 18, 19 at the time, and as a youngster in the punk scene, you know, Big Mike and the singer of Spitting on Cops, Clumsy, they were like big names in the punk scene around here. So when you get a call from them, you know, you're like, what?
You made it.
I'm like, what? Not really made it, but it was like, what? You know, like,
Well,
this
at least
is
locally,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Right.
like, you know,
the first step to making it.
they want me in a band. Like, this is crazy, man. Hey, you know, I heard you play guitar. You know, you mind coming by and auditioning? I'm like, yeah, shit. And I'm on my lunch break. I remember this is like yesterday, man. I remember it just like yesterday. I'm on my lunch break at work, right? And I'm sitting at the table, a bunch of guys all around, you know, eating their thing. And I'm like tripping out, like, yeah. I hang up and I'm just staring straight. Someone asked me, like, oh, you all right? What's going on? Like, man, you won't believe this, man, but I'm going to play guitar in a punk band. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And not just any punk band, like, this is from like the the people that are like well known in this area, and they're like, oh, okay, you gonna eat your fries, you know? I'm like, but to me, I was just like, wow, like my mind was blown. I was like, I want to leave work right now and go home and practice my guitar, right? So the day came, you know, I went and you know, they were like, hey, can you play this? Can you play that?
Did they have you play some of their songs, or was it just kind of play?
First, it was like, can you play this? Can you follow along with him? Can you do this, and that? So I'm playing, right? And, you know, I could see them looking at each other like, oh, okay, wow. You know, all right. Yeah. So, you know, then they say, hey, well, this is like one of our songs. Can you do this? And I started doing it, and then, you know, they were shaking their head in approval. And then after that, it was like, all right, let's teach them the songs. I'm like, whoa, I thought this was an audition, you know? But I guess I got the part, you know? So, you know, after that, we jammed for a little bit, and we started practicing weekly, and then it was like 2 times a week. And then, you know, started playing shows, and we were well received and had a big following. Of course, you know, Big Mike and Clumsy had a big following as it was because they were in all these different bands. And it just got bigger and bigger. And, you know, we were signed to a label out of Oceanside called Brain Constipation Records, and it was just pure loveliness, man. I mean, played Bullhead City. You know, we played a lot down in Oceanside.
Were you guys primarily like on the West Coast and like Southern California and everything?
Yeah. We played a lot down, like, since the label was in Oceanside and San Diego, we played a lot in that area. I think the farthest we went out was Bullhead City when I was with them, and that was a crazy story in itself. I mean, we were in Needles. We played Bullhead City.
Where's Bullhead City at?
It's in Arizona.
It sounds kind of familiar. Okay.
It's in Arizona. We played. They recorded a little live album there, and on our way back, our van broke down. This should be pure fuckery, man. I'll save this story for pure fuckery.
Yeah, we'll save it for that.
But yeah, it was cool, you know, and then, you know, like all good things, you know, they come to an end.
I think I might have a punk show pure fuckery too, since we're on the.
I have a couple of them, man. I mean, I've been in riots. I've been through it all, and I'm still standing, you know.
Hey, something I wanted to ask. I apologize about this, but I've always been curious about it with like, because I feel like the state of music in the desert used to be. It hit its peak a while ago. There was a point in the desert where it was awesome because, I mean, you could literally hit one of several shows during the weekend of all these different venues.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure, you know, being in, you know, a band located in the desert played a lot of the venue. What was your favorite venue that you played up here? If you don't mind me asking, I mean, there were a lot of cool ones.
Okay, so my thing was I like backyard things, you know, backyard get-togethers. That's where it was at for me, you know. But I used to frequent this one venue called the Old Fly Theater down in Old Town 7th Street, man. And anybody that knows anything about the punk scene out here knows about the Old Fly Theater. That was man, that was like a coming of age spot. That was like, you know, that was off the chain. And then, so going there as, you know, like in my teens, and then playing there, you know, in my late teens, early 20s was like a trip, because then I'm allowed in the back room, you know, the green room, you know, where everything goes down, the craziness, you know. And
I've been in a back room with you, and
yeah,
I've seen some irk and jerk.
Yeah, that was one of the things, like, from, because my big spot was Trilogy Theater when I was younger.
And believe it or not, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
The Trilogy Theater was the Old Fly.
Okay.
That's what dude had bought it and changed the name.
Yeah, Travis.
But yeah, Travis
was cool, man.
Travis was cool, man. Me and Travis go way back.
Hold on, are we talking about Travis
from the event center
that pretty much ended up burning out the music scene in here because he did some artists dirty?
Somewhat.
Oh, yeah,
somewhat, man. But Travis was a cool dude, man. I mean, I would show up right as a teen, to the Trilogy Theater, man, and I wouldn't have no money, man, and he would let me in for free. I'd be chilling in the alleyway in the back with
Dude,
the
there
homies.
there was a point when it was just insane
Right.
how many people were coming through to that venue. It was
Right.
insane.
Right, he would.
You know,
I remember in high school, like it was.
Plain White Tees played.
Oh man, I could name some punk bands like Citizen Fish, which is the it's actually like a ska band, but the lead singer, the Subhumans, is the lead singer of Citizen Fish. They came through there. Broken Bones came through there. Naked Aggression came through there. Clip 45 came through there. Against All Authority came through there.
See, I was a big.
Battalions of Saints came through there. I don't mean to cut you off,
No.
but I could go forever. You know what I mean?
I was a real big metalhead. That's
okay.
I was real into like the hardcore metal scene in high school. And I saw Suicide Silence.
All right.
And I mean,
Yeah.
to be able to say that, you know, R.I.P. Mitch, but like when Mitch was still alive and Suicide Silence was just kind of breaking into the scene, I saw him down at Trilogy, and then
Crazy, right?
You know, I ended
Right
up
here in
seeing him.
Victorville.
Yeah, and then I saw him at like Ozfest and Mayhem Fest, and they just blew up since the time I saw
here
him.
in
And it was
Victorville.
I got to be able to see him in that intimate little venue,
man.
which was, you know, that was a
And believe
once
it
in a
or
lifetime
not,
opportunity.
even before, because I'm older than you guys, but even, the older cats than me, they remember when the scene out here was, I'm talking about the punk scene, like, was, mad crazy out here. Like, you have Falling Sickness playing out here, and you had, the Whitecaps playing out here. You had, man, let me think. You just had all the Addicts came out here.
no shit.
Yeah, man.
Aquabats came out.
Yeah, Aquabats.
Back in the day.
Assorted Jelly Beans would come out here every once in a while, man. Total Chaos would come out here, and now, man, they pass right by.
Wait, the band's name was Assorted Jelly Beans?
Yeah, it's like a ska band.
Yes.
What?
It's like a ska band. I mean, that's just what it
Where's-
is, man.
Where's the originality with like group names and stuff in hip hop, man? I feel like
That's what I'm saying.
They're so bland and kind of
Right.
cheesy, like
Right.
and then you hear like punk bands and like different types of metal bands and their names is just like, dude,
That's why I wanted to get
awesome.
rid of Smiley, man, because I'm just thinking like Smiley, that's not it's not abstract enough for me. I want to do something like like Toe Jam and Earl. Remember that? Remember that? I think that was a video game or something.
Parappa the Rappa.
Yeah, like something off the wall like that. Like.
See, I mean, I changed my hip hop name,
I know you
4
did,
or
man.
5 times.
I know you
and-
did, but the thing is, each time I change it, I'm still known as Smiley. There's no getting away from it. There's no getting away. I've just been around for way too long. I know too many people, and it just comes
Well, hey,
back.
those who know the unmasked Ziggy
Yeah.
Braun know that I got a million.
Well, I
names.
feel the same way. I mean, I've changed it and kept it long enough here and there to kind of just get myself called by my new pseudonym, and but I still to this day
Notorious GIB.
Notorious GIB, the biggest the
Look at
biggest
you,
bite,
man. Look at you.
the biggest bite you could ever take from somebody famous. But like it was clever to me because
It was cool because it was.
I'm known as Gibby, Gib, whatever you want to call me, and Notorious B.I.G. I just happened to have B.I.G. backwards as my name,
Yeah, you
so I was
did, yeah.
Notorious G.I.B.
Which is tight.
And as I grew as an artist, I realized like I cannot go forth with this name because. I mean, not only is it a bit disrespectful, but it's just biting super hard.
I did win a copy of Keys to My Soul because I remembered that your
all
first rap name was
Hey, speaking of
Notorious
Keys
B.I.B..
to My Soul, man, I remember when that came out, and my man Gibby over here, like, kind of blew my mind with that. Especially, okay, so
Day after your birthday, actually,
yeah,
No.
because it was dropped it on my deceased father's birthday, April 21st.
Yeah.
Which is
I know you're 420.
yeah, that's my
What?
birthday, man, April 20th,
Hey, St. Evans is
1985.
424.
You see what I'm saying? It's
Oh, you guys
crazy,
are all,
right?
like, in the same-
It's kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
But I remember when Keys to My Soul came out, and you got to remember, I've known the Notorious GIB for a very long time,
Believe in that.
for a very, 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 very long time. So I've seen his style progress, and when I first heard him, I wasn't impressed. I'm gonna be honest. I was like,
It was a big change up from what you heard in the
but
past.
when I first heard him, in the past, I wasn't impressed, and no disrespect or nothing, but I just, I felt like there was potential there, but it's gonna take a while for him to get it. And when I heard Keys to My Soul, especially, and we talked about this the other day, the song Two Lives. Man, I was like, that's his potential right there. He's got it. He's got it, and he's better run with that and not look back.
I randomly came across it, I think on the SoundCloud the other day, and I played it. And I'm not gonna lie, like no homo. I got chills.
You see what I'm saying?
When you came in and started rapping.
All right, guys. This is a Smiley interview.
Yeah.
No. Play it on the Smiley interview, please, because I'm telling you, out of all of your work, all your whole portfolio, that song right there is like it has to be one of my favorite because your verse, what you say in your verse, and for those that don't know, he wrote his verse when his woman was pregnant, and the imagery in this verse is just outstanding. It just I have no words. I'm speechless. And it's not because he's my homie, because like I said, I was honest and said I wasn't impressed when I first heard him, but this song right here is like it's what made me a fan, and actually what led me into wanting to be in a group with him. So go ahead and play that shit, man. I know this is your interview. I mean, you control this thing, but I'm commanding you to put that shit on.
Just for you.
We'll play it.
I'll drop my verse on Two Lives from Keys to My Soul, and then right after we
play the whole thing, man. I want to hear Dylan Drugs, aka Scum, rest in peace. I want to hear it. I want to hear it all, man.
We'll drop the whole thing, but right when we get back, we're gonna get a little more depth in this interview and start segueing towards the hip hop side of Smiley and where he's at now. So, all right, guys, here's Two Lives.
Cruising down Mojave, unbuckle the car seat at the destination. Avery is reaching for her mommy. Grab her hand, continue onward as she clutches on her dolly. Bats her pretty eyes, now she's got control of daddy. Real respectful like I raised her. She always says please, wants the hamburger daddy. Remember no cheese, ketchup only. She's my one and only. In love with the thought of her already, and she doesn't even know me cause she's still in mama's belly. I dream about the future, I ponder what she'll be or who she'll love in just a few words. I put it all together, forever I'll be her teacher. A hero when she needs it, and the same for when I need her. Scriptures about life to teach her through the struggles, but let her make the decision so she learns to stray from trouble. Pay her back a double, watch it all unfurl. Mommy gave her what she wanted, daddy gave her the world.
People are so different, yet our lives are so similar. Different shoes, a different person, and it's all so familiar. No matter the situation or the circumstance, we're all in this together. Look past the freckles and the curly hair. We're all brothers and sisters, y'all.
More roaches in my crib than a Bob Marley ashtray. Not trying to see my grandparents ever pass away. Mind on dark cause I couldn't afford the light switch. Screaming in the alleyway, I hear a high pitch. Take another drink as they argue up in the home. Another hoodie on his back, his music blaring through his phone. Searching for a job, don't hire the higher youth. I graduated with OGs, you graduated silver spoon. Now back to the man of the hour, no hot showers. Every bowl of milk was sour with TV sitters for hours. Flash forward pictures to the day he grew up quick. His family loves his music and the way that he drops shit. He swings around the corner where the team always slack out. Music is his soul, he don't care if he's racked out. Seen his enemies and they quick with the pack out. Music is his soul, he don't care if he's racked out.
People are so different, yet our lives are so similar. Different shoes, a different person, and it's all so familiar. No matter the situation or the circumstance, we're all in this together. Look past the freckles and the curly hair. We're all brothers and sisters, y'all.
All right, guys, that was Two Lives by Gibbs off the album Keys to My Soul,
featuring R.I.P. Scum.
Dylan Drugs.
R.I.P. Scum. The artist formerly known as Scum. Now that we're back, we kind of went from your punk scene.
Right.
It carried into the hip hop a little bit. So let's get into the next stage of Smiley, and that's where I really got to know Smiley through Battleground.
Oh shit. Yeah, man. Whew, that touched a tender spot in my heart, man. Every time I talk about Battleground, this you don't even understand. I got goosebumps right now because the chemistry we had was unlike any chemistry I had with a person. Not even just musically, just like as a human being, as my brother, man. He was man. Me and him get along better than my little brother, my own flesh and blood, you know, or we did at one point in time, you know. But like everything that's good in life, you know, things change and nothing's ever forever. But Battleground, man. So before I came into the punk scene, I was a huge Cash Money Millionaire fan, right? And anything Southern, back when Southern music was not cool, Southern music did not get radio play, Southern music didn't win awards, I was a fan, you know. Andre 3000, man, he was like a driving force to me. When I first heard him on Spody Odie Dopalicious, oh my goodness, man. You know, who else can I name? 8 Ball and MJG, Pimp C, man, Chad Butler. Oh my goodness.
Rest in peace, Pimp C.
So going back into hip hop, and then my boy Bam coming from, he lived in Cali, moved to Texas, came back from Texas. It was only proper that we stayed with the Southern mentality, especially since my people are from Kentucky, you know. So he's coming back from Texas, you know. I'm vibing with my people in Kentucky. Plus, I'm still listening to Andre 3000 and UGK, you know. Bun B. It was only proper that Battleground just, you know, carried that sound, that flavor, you know. And man, it's just hard to talk about Battleground because that was my heart,
if I
man.
had to say anything about Battleground, it was so unique hearing it here on the West Coast. A beautiful blend of West Coast and that southern Houston area style of music.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, when I first heard it, I was like, oh my God, I am sitting here listening to the next big thing.
I still remember the first day I heard Battleground. I knew you for a bit. I met you. I saw you around kind of every now and again.
In passing.
The first time I heard you was that local hip hop show we played at the Victorville Event Center.
Yeah.
And you and Bam showed up and like got on stage, and I was literally right up there just watching it and just eyes fixated on you guys the whole time, just not
Stage presence.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And you know, it doesn't feel right for me to be here and speak about Battleground without the other half of Battleground. But, you know, I'll tell my story, and maybe one day he could tell his story, and then after that we could
maybe
both
one day
tell
mesh
our stories together.
That would be cool.
You know,
that would be an honor to have you guys on here.
But
That'd
Battleground, you know, man, you don't even understand. I got goosebumps like crazy right now. Battleground was just like, it was my heart, man. I put everything into that, you know. When I made a beat, you know, my main focus when I made a beat for Battleground was I need to make this beat attack Bam so hard that his only choice was to attack the beat back. You know, that to give that beat everything he had. And I feel like we accomplished that. The only sad thing is the world never got to hear it. And maybe it's my fault. Maybe I didn't promote it enough. Maybe I was too much of a perfectionist, and I wanted it to be, 1,000% perfect before I released it. But Battleground, man, I don't know. Shit.
I could tell it's a sore subject.
It's very sore, but it's also a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, like there's beauty in the pain because, no matter what, my whole life, Bam will be a brother to me. Even though, we probably don't see eye to eye. I don't know his story because, we don't really speak. He doesn't know my story, and I wish it was different. I feel like we could conquer this desert with this music, man. I feel like we could. I feel like
it would have.
I feel like nobody on the earth could have touched us.
It would have been a big thing.
It would have been a huge. It would have been more than the desert, my friend. It would have been.
Things happen. Life happens, and whenever he wants to come back and make this music, I'm here, man.
And that's the thing, it's not like you guys are never gonna. Right. You could potentially do something again. And it's cool too because what you guys did in Battleground kind of led to what you're doing now.
Right. No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
I mean, speaking of what's going on now, or more in the more recent history, after the Battleground thing kind of took its toll. It was what it was. You took a pretty long hiatus away from just music itself. I know you didn't really want to touch anything.
Yeah.
And when I was really coming back into what I wanted to do, when I was in the process of creating the Keys to My Soul album, I know you were coming around. We were. We were talking about working together musically, and you wanted to do a little mixtape to try to see if you can get yourself back into it, as well as see if we would mesh well together. So we started our mixtape called Fibonacci Sequence.
Yeah, and
we rapped over a couple beats that aren't well known, a couple that are. We did some Public Enemy.
Oh yeah.
We did some Dead Prez.
Ooh,
some Dead Prez.
Yeah, we did.
Fugees.
Yeah, man. Oh
man. I like talking about the beginning of Occam's Razor because
that was a good time.
Your Battleground is my Occam's Razor, unfortunately.
I know it is, man, and I know I played a part in that. Go ahead and speak, and then when you're ready for me, I'll tell you what my side of the story, because everyone has a side of the story, and perspective sometimes is reality, and my perspective is different than your perspective, and different than another person's perspective. So, I want to hear what you have to say, because I don't think we've ever really had this conversation. I think we've touched on it and brushed the superficial surface of it, but we've never went in deep, and I feel like this is kind of crazy. We're going on deep on this microphone, but I'm ready for it, man. And it is what it is.
Ziggy Braun's over here spectating, waiting.
I'm ready and willing. I mean, when I say Occam's Razor was the combination of myself and Smiley, producing and being the lyricist of our group.
Right.
At first it was just, we're gonna make this mixtape. We thinking of a name, we're thinking of what to call ourselves, and Smiley being from that punk background, coming up with awesome names, and how they come up with cool names. The guy's very intelligent, so he knows a lot about a lot of things people don't really.
You couldn't tell by the way I speak right now, though, but I know a little bit of something.
He proposes, let's call ourselves Occam's Razor. And I'm like, Occam's Razor? What the fuck is Occam's Razor? It sounds cool, but like, what is it? And I know that there's a purpose behind everything with this guy. Yeah. So I asked him what it means. He's like, it's a philosophy, and the gist of it is basically the best answer is the simplest.
Boom.
I was like, that's
the best answer.
That's the best answer. All right, we're Occam's Razor. So we're pushing our way through this mixtape. We're liking the way it sounds. We've performed a couple of shows, and we were getting great responses. Like the best responses that I've gotten working with anyone with music and performing, you know, I've always had people come out to my shows, support me. You know, I've had my steady fan base of people that dug what I was doing, but this was like the beginning of pretty much how I am now as a musician, and the way I approach everything now mentally and as, you know, an artist. And the response we were getting, we played this show in our friend's backyard named Omar. He threw this
Omar Cello, man.
Omar Cello.
Yeah, Omar Cello.
This was our big chance. We were like, okay, we're gonna see if Occam's razor is a thing or not right now. And this was before we even wrote our song that is probably the most popular Occam's razor song, and it's from the mixtape, not even the Occam's razor EP, but like everyone wants to hear us perform this song just because we kill it,
right?
And the stage presence and the energy that it brings. So we rock Omar Cello, and we get this great response from people. We don't even fucking know these people. I mean, I got on the show.
Yeah, that was a strange night, man.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Very interesting. I remember a bicycle in a tree.
Yeah,
you guys remember that?
Yeah, got him.
Strange night.
We get invited to this this house party.
Gibby took his shirt off that night.
And,
yeah, crazy.
O Martin is the name that he goes by, and he produces house music, electronic music.
Isn't it O Martin?
Yeah.
O Martin. Oh.
As Omar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so O Martin, he hits up the Monkey House to do a performance at this show, and they hit me up. They're like, hey, Gib, do you want to perform at Omar Cello? And I was like, you know, I don't have a lot of like fresh solo stuff to really rock. You know, it's been a couple years. At the time, I mean, I dropped High Minded Soldier was my first album in 2010, and it was some like not very well put together projects in between that, and I was just starting to kind of dabble in the whole Keys to My Soul, and then we started working with this Occam's razor thing to kind of just get me and Smiley back in the mode.
Right.
And so they asked me, and I was like, well, can I do my performance with Smiley with Occam's razor? This is before people even really knew about Occam's razor.
Yeah.
So we do this set.
We were in hiding. We were not really hiding, but we were like formulating our master plan. Nobody knew anything about it.
We had no clue what the response would be or anything. You know, and this was different. It wasn't just performing in front of your friends at a backyard show.
I mean, it was a rager.
Like Omar's like big ass party that we knew nobody except for probably the Monkey.
Man, this party was so big. He had like a commercial for it on YouTube. You guys remember that shit where he was wearing like that?
The Daft Punk.
Yeah, some kind of helmet on his head with some crazy shit going on in the background. That's
that
how
party
big
was
this fucking
gnarly.
Party was, man.
It was a fun party.
It was a good time.
So like we get up there, we rock it. We're sitting there last song waiting for the response, and then you know people are like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know, like it wasn't really dead or anything. We had like people coming up to the front getting into it.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, just that's my favorite part is after rocking a show, walking around after your set's done and kind of just getting the pure response from just people that walk up to you. You're like, oh dude, you guys fucking killed it. Who are you guys? You know, what do you
I'm
do?
different, man. I'm different. Like after my set, like okay, punk wise, like in the punk scene, I like to chill in the crowd before my set, and I would mingle with the people, and they really wouldn't even know I was gonna be on stage. I'm just a dude with dreadlocks, you know.
Yeah.
Then after, you know, I would still mingle in the crowd and chill with everybody. But in the hip hop scene, man, like I'm older now, and I'm more like I like to seclude myself. So after you know the performance is done and the set is finished, I like to just chill. I don't, you know, I kind of go off on my own, you know, and I observe. I rather observe people, you know. That's why I'm a people watcher.
Yeah, dude, I love people watching as well. People are interesting organisms, you know, like.
Oh yeah.
We do some weird stuff, and there's not really even a explanation for most of it.
Right.
But yeah, Occam's razor, man. It started off a very beautiful and positive thing for me. We towards the end of the mixtape, we added a third party. We liked what we did. We liked what the response we were getting. We were motivated at that point, so we're like, let's do this. Let's make an original Occam's Razor album, and we went towards it, and we were making great progress. We actually had enough to pretty much drop a full length album. Handful of stuff didn't make the cut just because we were a 3-piece, and there was some stuff that was only 2-piece, and we just felt like it should have stayed that way for the album. Is drop it mostly 3-piece stuff, and the album turned into an EP, and before it even turned into an EP, it kept pushing on. I was getting a little antsy to release it because I knew my life was about to change with my kid being born.
Yeah, I remember
just
that.
graduated college, so I'm about to
yeah.
go start my career. And, I was like, all right, I just want to get this done. We have the pieces here. We have most of it done. And it just became a clash of 3 intellectuals as artists just not seeing eye to eye on the same page anymore. And in certain ways, it became a little toxic to where, like, I didn't even want to mention it or talk about it anymore. So we actually never even released the EP, even though we finished the 6 songs that were going to be on it. And I moved away to Northern California, and I didn't feel it was right to, drop the music because we're no longer together. There wasn't really anything that was going to come from it anymore. So it was to the point where I was like, okay, it is what it is. The people that have heard it. And, me and Smiley were talking one day, and he's like, hey, man, release that shit. Just put it out there.
Yeah, and I still feel that way.
So you guys finished the whole.
We had enough for the album, but the thing is, like, not all of the songs, and it wasn't just that. I know you're still telling your story. If you want to finish it up, then I'll tell my half.
I'm good. There's not a lot
Or
of
my
to
third.
touch on that.
My
third.
I know you want me to go into full depth, but I'm not going to just for the sake of it.
No, I feel you. So when I said release that shit, that's I think people deserve to hear it.
Yeah, they did.
And when I said release it, I felt like it should be heard. But in the same sense, I'm gonna go back to music should be free. And I didn't really understand the whole donation thing. And the other person in this 3-piece, I'm not gonna speak on his third, but I'll tell my third. He felt like it should be free, and I don't think he truly understood the donation thing either. So I kind of got a little upset, because anybody that knows me knows that my music's for free. Do what you want with it, except for my beats. Now that's something different, because those beats, there's some magic behind that,
There were some beats on that, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I understand where you were coming with that. It was still for free, but if you wanted to donate, you could donate. Now with Occam's Razor, man, I enjoyed what we did. I enjoyed it as a 2-piece. Towards in the beginning, I enjoyed it as a 3-piece, but then towards the end, shit just got fucked up, man. Everyone's egos were, just alive, awake, and just fighting each other. And it was, I felt like I was in the middle, and I kind of played devil's advocate. I heard your side, I heard the other side, and then I have my side, and I kind of, not really used that to benefit me, but it was like, okay, this is how I'm gonna survive in this group, and this is, I'm hearing this from this person, I'm hearing this from this person. I'm gonna go this way in this situation, I'm gonna go that way in this situation, and towards the end, I felt like I was in a battle between 2 of the closest people in my life at that time, and it was really hard for me, really hard for me,
It was crazy. Sorry to cut you off. That like it was a battle, but really, I don't think either side really even knew that it was a battle between us. But because I wanted.
I don't understand how you couldn't though, because it was just
there was strife, but it was like until we had the moment where it all came out, there was just a lack of communication.
Right.
And
the time that it came out, it was because I was frustrated because I'm hearing it from the other person, and then I'm seeing you. Okay, I'll tell everybody. We were rehearsing for a show we were gonna do.
Steakhouse.
I believe it was the Steakhouse,
I think
and Battleground was gonna perform, and Occam's Razor, and I think the Monkey House. Was it the Monkey House? Okay, so
those are Senators too.
Yeah, the Senators, but something happened with that, right? Or did they?
Well, no, they performed. Something happened with the original venue. Got burned down. Main Street Pub.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's
burnt
right.
down.
That's right.
Burnt down like 2 days before the show. I get this text from Gibby. I'm at work. He's
That's
like,
crazy, right?
"Hey, venue burnt down."
And you know what's crazy? I think I had a dream about that, or something happened. I was on the fence about the whole thing, and then I heard it burnt down. I was like, "Oh shit, maybe we shouldn't." I forget what happened. It was weird, but anyways, we're rehearsing, right? And you show up late, Gibby, and then like you just I felt your energy, man, and it wasn't just me because the other half of Battleground, I don't want to speak for him. He told me he felt it too, and you kind of weren't into the music, and you weren't really. It didn't seem like you wanted to even rehearse, so and the animosity between both sides was, and I'm in the middle. It got me, and I just, Smiley wasn't smiling, and
he let it out. This is the non-smiley, the non-smiling Smiley.
It got pretty intense. I mean, and you could cut the tension with a knife in the air, and it cleared out the apartment. We were practicing in, and it was a bad situation. I feel like after that, it was just downhill from there, and Occam's Razor, I feel like we were a powerhouse. There was 3 MCs that just, man, so much potential, so much greatness. You had me, and then you had 2 MCs from PBS, which, by the way, is another thing another thing that should have went, out of the desert. It should have, blasted off, but. Things like that happen. That's why we are who we are today, and that's why I'm careful with who I work with today as well. But so, with all that being said, I've said some things. That really I should have thought about before I said them, and. I feel bad the way Occam's Razor ended, but I'm kind of glad it ended the way it did because there was no way that we could have kept going the way we were going. So with all that being said, I'm open for a Occam's Razor reunion.
I'm open for that too. Just FYI. I mean, just
as a matter of fact, if you're gonna play a song. I would like you to play the song off the mixtape. I don't even know what beat it is. I think we were just playing around on YouTube, and I heard this beat doing. Yeah, I heard that shit right, and I was like, I want that. And that's the one I want you to play if you're gonna,
It's funny because every time I hear that intro, I just get so stoked.
Yeah, man, that was one of my favorite songs, and even though it was a mixtape song, that was one of my favorite ones that we actually did. And yeah, it was a 2-piece, that was when we were 2-piece, but that's not the reason why it was my favorite. It was my favorite because I feel like I really went hard on that.
I'm glad. I'm going to say too, I'm glad you guys included me on some Occam's Razor stuff because I feel like honestly, Mr. Gibby over here played some Occam's Razor for me a few weeks ago. And I was reminiscent about it. I was like, man, I feel like this is probably some of the hardest shit I ever wrote in my life.
And that's how I feel too. Even though
so fun getting on that stuff.
Even though Battleground was my baby, and I feel like I went hard on that. I wasn't really a MC in Battleground. I was just I was the other half. I was the beat producer, you know, and Bam, I wanted Bam to shine. And Occam's Razor, I felt like, you know, everyone knew me for making beats. Hey, I'm gonna let them know.
It was
You
your
know,
time to shine.
yeah, I'm gonna let them know how I could get down with the words, man. And I feel like I did my due diligence, you know, my duty on that.
Definitely did. It was never a factor with Occam's Razor about the art itself. It all just came down to different stages of our life, really. Like if I'm really gonna break it down to why it became toxic for me, it wasn't Smiley, it wasn't the third party, it was myself, you know. The ass end of my college career, got a kid on the way. I had a lot of shit going on that day of the rehearsal that that's where you never mix your business with your pleasure. Even though it wasn't like a pleasure, it was more just, you know, your personal life, and going there should have been business, and I should have just dropped it.
Yeah, but it's different with music and artistry, man. With music and artistry, you kind of feed off of your personal life. You know what I mean? Like that's, at least for me, that's what drives me. You know, and I'm not gonna lie. Right now, I'm going through a huge like writer's block, man, and I feel like it's something that's, you know, in my personal life that's spilling over into my artistry, and I welcome it, but at the same time it's frustrating, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean I was also having a hard time just being an artist. Your art's very personal, and it's hard to really let go of even like a slightest bit of like creative control. And that's where I struggled, and I know that was probably, you know, a big factor on the other side of on my part. You know, it's not like there wasn't one person that caused anything. It wasn't
collectively.
It was just collectively.
We're three strong-minded, strong-willed people that the creativity oozes out of us, and it's just, you know, trying to funnel that into one work of art is just difficult.
Yeah, and it's always a lot harder working with the group, you know, because you got
man.
different mindsets, you got different things in mind, different
And I think
outcomes for the song that you kind of
as
want.
Humans in our stage of life, all three of us, we weren't ready for what we were bringing to the table.
No,
that's what it came down to. We weren't mentally ready and prepared for everything that had to come with it, and it just became something that we had to cut off before we lost each other. Kind of deal. Like if we let it ride out any longer, you know, I might have not talked to, you know, either of you, even though it should have never came to that point. You know what I mean? And I talk to you, I still talk to him, and you know, it's cool. We're good. You know, it's just Occam's Razor. It had its time. It was what it was. It's a 6-track EP. Check that shit out because it's fire as fuck.
Yeah,
and
make sure you put that song on too, man.
Wait, so did you guys put the EP online?
Yeah.
Or no? Oh, you did?
It's the Theory of Relativity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
thought it was something else besides
the Fibonacci sequence is the mixtape.
Mixtape,
That one, it goes hard too, but I feel like all of our creative energy was into the EP. And I think if you want a good feeling of what Occam's Razor is, listen to that EP, man, and I'll tell you the whole story.
You can see just in 6 tracks what we were going for.
What you were capable of, too. You know?
Could have been, and it could have been more. It's just...
Man, is it me? Am I cursed? I mean, why the hell is everything that I touch, man, just crumbles apart? What is going on, man?
Some things are meant to be, and some things aren't. And
but you know,
never know unless you try.
That's crazy to me, though. It's crazy to me.
Some of you, I mean, you know, for those who really know me, I'm not like a religious person or anything, but I feel like everything does happen for a reason, you know? And I feel like, you know, if a lot of the groups I have been in weren't around, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man.
And I feel like, you know, maybe you still would be here, you know, rapping and everything if Occam's Razor wasn't a thing or Battleground wasn't a thing. But I think those groups kind of helped you grow into the person that you are today. And like we said before, you know, that we don't know what the future is going to bring. Right. The future could very well bring us another Occam's Razor album. The future very well could bring us another Battleground album.
Man,
it's just,
oh man.
It's just we'll see what we'll see what the future brings. We'll see what the future brings.
I mean, you grow as people, you grow as an artist, and we've had a lot of time to grow.
Yeah,
As both.
and that's the thing to keep in
Look,
mind
man,
too.
I'm gonna reach out right now. If Bam hears this and wants to work with me, man, call me. You got my number. My number's been the same for like 15 years. Homie, call me. I got beats stacked up. I still got beats that you haven't even rapped over. Hit me up, man.
And I will second that.
I will third that.
I will second that, even if it's just to record on the Lazarus beat.
Oh man,
That fucking song will go so far, and that song is absolutely amazing. And we're getting Bam on this show.
Oh yeah,
And-
it's happening.
And
yeah.
I miss Bam, dude. I miss Bam a
going
lot.
To plug in
Yeah.
the Lazarus beat.
Yeah,
and
get him.
he is
Get him to do
going
that first verse. Get him get him to do the chorus, man. If you get him to do the
I'm getting
Oh,
hyped
though.
just talking about it. I'm getting hyped just talking about it.
Man.
It'll come. It'll come.
I'm telling you, man. If my life will be complete, man. If I could get Battleground back together and we could just drop a 3-song EP, man.
Yeah.
I could die a happy man tomorrow. You know that?
I think
Finish what you started, at least. You know?
Oh, we've all grown.
Yeah.
So I don't think
that's the thing to keep in
talking
mind
about.
too.
I can see that being a big reason for himself because
Right.
he has come a long way as far as who he is now. I can see, but there's some in there that were part of that transition.
Yeah, man.
Definitely could be.
It's slipping my mind right now. We had different. See, this is crazy. We had different names for the songs because where I created the beat or that feeling at time the feeling of the time where I created the beat that's the name of the song. Like we have one song called "Stuck in the Baño" because he had trapped me in the bathroom, man, because that's where the studio was. We would record in the bathroom, and he told me I couldn't leave until I finished the beat. And I made that beat, and it was so beautiful. And it was like something else.
Hold on, pure fuckery. Don't even go into it. It's coming.
I kind of wanted to bring. Yeah, we'll talk about the recording in that bathroom.
Let's move a little more positively because as positive as all these groups have been, there's been a little strife that's come with it, and it's hard to talk about. But let's get into who you are now, Smiley. What can we expect from you this year? What is it called? And, when do we get to hear that?
Okay, so this has been an album in the making for Gibby, 4 or 5 years.
Decent
now.
chunk of time.
2015 at least. So
2015, about 3 years, yeah. The original name of it was Journey into the Great Unknown.
Ooh.
Now, I've done Journey to the Great Unknown. I've seen what's there, and I'm going to put it all in this album. So I don't know if that name should stick or if I should call it something else. What it's going to entail is probably what I feel is the most intense, sincere, honest music that I've ever written. Lyrically, beat wise, the beats that I contribute to my album, because Ziggy B, he's contributed, Gibby, he's gonna contribute. This album for me is gonna be probably the last album that I do. It's kind of bittersweet. I feel like this is the one that's gonna be my heart and soul, the one that I will never ever be able to do anything better than. So when this album is finished, there will be no more Smiley. There'll just be a record of when he has existed. That's it.
Nice.
Maybe that's the name of the album. I don't know. You can expect it probably. I like to take my time. I don't rush anything. When I bought my house, the realtor hated me because I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't know. So I would say the tail end of 2018, but time for me doesn't exist. If anybody knows me, I'm a busy man and I don't live by a clock. So the end of 2018 is when you could probably see it.
And if not, it'll be there sometime.
Early 2019.
Nah, it's gonna be
Late
done.
2019.
It's gonna be done in 2018, man. This has been going on.
2023.
Yes, that's what happened in 2015, right?
This is the detox.
There you go. It's like Dr. Dre's detox, man. I've been talking about this thing forever, and I just want to put it to rest.
I'm telling you, earlier on we played a snip of Magic Microphone.
Yeah,
that's just touching the surface.
Yeah.
Do you, because I kind of just wanted to ask this question because both of you guys talked about this today. I mean, do you feel like there's a part of you, though, that, you guys say this will be the last album, but do you feel like there's also, like, even the slightest part of you that might want to, like, challenge that statement you made and come back next year or the year after and try and...
I say every album's the last album.
Oh, that's
every
true,
verse
yeah.
is my last verse.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Like... I want to feel like it can go forever, but I know my life has some great things to come in the future, and music's always going to be a part of it. I just don't know if it's going to be mine.
Gotcha.
Music is always going to be a part of my life, but at some point, you got to put some things away, man. You got to put it on the shelf.
Put it on the shelf, yeah.
And walk away. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about it because I don't want to give it up.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I think about it, I'm like, nah, fuck that shit, man.
Well,
I'll never give it up. But just because I give up, writing rhymes, maybe I'll continue to make beats, or maybe
do some features and stuff.
Maybe I'll do some features, or maybe we'll finally do that punk band me and you've been talking about, man. That's what I'm saying. Just because
we got some names to top though. I don't know how we'll even think to.
We could do it, man. We could do it. But just because I bow out, Michael Jordan came back from retirement.
Yeah.
I'm no Michael Jordan. To me, I don't even feel like I'm anything great. I just feel like I'm just Smiley, who's been around as long as the dust on the earth, man.
But you got to think to yourself,
it.
too, I mean, I've always felt like, everybody's their own worst critic.
Right.
I've always thought my stuff that I've come out with was like bottom of the barrel stuff.
No,
but
good,
it's,
man.
you got to, yeah.
Like I said, you're abstract. That Pootie Tang, 2 Chainz, Luke Kane, man. Me and Scumdog were talking about that, and I told Gibby, I said, put that shit on. I remember that. That was
didn't fit the beat at all, or the context of the song.
It doesn't matter,
The only
man.
thing is you'll never hear it banging through your radio, though.
Yeah. It don't matter. It don't matter. I heard it in these eardrums, and it will stick with me to the rest of my life.
I know that was just an homage to the name.
Yeah.
I know that's the name of the song, but
I love
from
the
time
intro,
I
though.
first heard
The
him
intro.
on
Young
Monkey House. That Saint Even, man. Oh my goodness. Hey, by the way, man, I listened to that interview and that shit was tight, man. Saint Even. I got a glimpse into who you are outside of, as an artist and outside of an artist, because you could tell by the way a person speaks and how they form their sentences and how they articulate.
He's an intelligent dude, man.
Yeah,
he's a smart
craft
dude.
their phrases and conversation. You could tell something about a person, and I really appreciated everything he had to say, except for his top 5. That I'm being hard on everybody, man. You guys are probably gonna hate on mine
because it's coming.
Yeah.
And speaking of the top 5, we've had a great interview with you, Smiley.
I appreciate.
Wait, is there one more thing we should bring up before the top 5? The VW.
Oh yes.
Oh man,
we will get to that, but we're gonna throw on a little bit of something that Smiley's talked about and wanted to be on the show here real quick. We'll get into a little top 5. We'll talk about Smiley's love and his passion.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we'll close it off with some pure fuckery. Thanks for sticking around, guys. This is Beers in the Air.
Yeah.
lines of Occam's razor. Not much rhymes on catchy ladies for the word he never pushes in the faded cling tight to your life. I'm exhaling laser beams. Too many men runs the show, pretty teamies. Do you really wanna know when I'm busting flows? Intel just grows. Keep acting relaxed while your mind explodes. Goes boom, bases the room. Better shut your mouth when I'm bringing the doom. Man, I'm the fool will likely assume that everything that's told is gotta be true. That's bullshit, foolish man. You deserve what you're gonna get. Just serve to a trial full of idiots. All hearts off the hammers who's looking to get up and satisfied with the war when no one's left.
Hold up, wait a minute, let me put some righteous in it. I came, I saw, I conquered. Y'all don't know, but awaken a monster. Beat it, beat it, beat you. I'm in a cage with the art to release me. Test my intellect, I swallow your brain. If your brain is lame, then you won't maintain. It's plain and simple. He who dwells on earthly possessions shall surely lose his position. For it is written in the gates of Zion is my mission. Knowledge is a prescription for ignorance. I re-educate the world due diligence. Test me, now become militant. Shine but I can't burn out filament. I pop the lock off a door's box like a shot of a Glock. Make time stop, overstand it, once you grant it. If you're not, and demand it.
You'll have the path as a smash of the aftermath. Got the blood bath, the breath from my epitaph. Got the math through my fate with the pen and pad. Gone mad, allies to pass with my final crash. They all, how do they fall? Merch from the dust, gave me a song. Nothing was met, gave the place best. Like a sound one more time and began to crawl. Stood tall, cracked a smile as I ever last. Took a look in the mirror and was at the clash. Image smash on my own worst enemy. Reaching out, having doubts in the enemy. Lost the percussion, found peace in the symphony. 88 keys, using my energy. Passing energy underground so I gravitate. Never words and relate as I delegate. Never hate, spread fake, my philosophy. Regulating, set straight on the bottom of me. Rap cats can't last on top of me. Back on the back, moving fast, no side of me. Never sign the line on my assholes. You can take my pride and never my soul. Never sign the line on my assholes. You can take my pride and never my soul.
Occam's razor, tell your neighbors, spitting lasers through your faders. Occam's razor, tell your neighbors, message process, you can't stop us.
The lips of the righteous, he many my fool die for water wisdom. Mental affliction, I'm wishing the well full of water had never dried up. I'm determined to be a righteous receiver. The world is a bitch, so I steal from the rich and I get to the poor. Soon my sword, a Babylon tour. Are you ready to see? Society's disease, destruction of the soul is vanity. Destruction of the poor is poverty. Exposing the system of destiny. I Jimmy my shackle and now I'm free. I'm a runaway slave that turned up. Even in wild snakes with a smile job, vibes got burned, yeah. I'm a happy, that little song of blood. And please don't forget it. About the ground till I die. Was the rest of them guys I refuse to compromise. My dreams and my soul, brains get blown. Eardrums explode from against our home. Look, senses froze, trying to get revenge. I thumped them off for the click of my pen. Wicked men, depart from mine. Won't she clothe and brutalize? Realize the mind of eyes confined to the Most High.
Thank you for tuning in to Beers in the Air, Episode 4, Part 1 of the interview with Smiley. Next week on Part 2, we're going to get into the most controversial question on this show, Smiley's Top 5, as well as a very, very exciting segment of peer fuckery. You're not going to want to miss it. Also, remember to follow us at Aesthetic Intellect Records on Instagram, as well as on YouTube.
Battleground, know what I'm saying? Battleground, know what I'm saying? Battleground, know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Bottle round with the bottle, but the blew up quick. I got a nigga sitting low, drumming, screwed up, clicking with the camera around the corner with a blew up whip. Right walls got a frown, cause they girl don't quit. You would catch me in a branch to the gray lane with a blood in my hand, try to maintain. I got my digging on flame with a bang bang. The beat dubs in the back do the same thing. And when I order for the beer, better leave, I ain't mad. That's on my side on the food when I'm pinning my pad. And I ain't talking about physically killing these niggas, but I'm a hop when I might start killing these niggas. I'ma have to put it down and let you know what the deal. But when I pack it, I might, that means I'm packing the steel. It's okay, the little bottles coming out of the veal. When I ain't speaking nothing else, so it's a real ass trill.
Whipping grain, blowing James, switching lanes every day. Where I stay in the Ville, on the real. What's the deal? What's the plan? It's the bam, got a gram, got a pump, and it's rough and it's tough, but I can't get enough. Battleground, know what I'm saying? Battleground, know what I'm saying? Battleground, know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
My I'm from the south in the west side town. H-Town ready for the Kelly bound. Tell me why the boys on the bus wanna clown. Better believe I hold it down for the battleground sound. I ain't really tripping why the buggers wanna hate. Southside Kelly to the Lone Star State. Y'all don't wanna see me when I try to pull away. And we pumping on the gas like the poking for the cake. Try to come a hand on the bars that I've been. Breaking the pieces and put a paw with a pin. I already been done through the lines then. Had to swirl up my chest and bring up my chin. Still locked up with the rubber boys at. They got me sipping for my nigga Bam back. Beat a 4-4 to give it a back. I'ma beat the order, put the bill up on the map.
Gotta blow, gotta shine, gotta glow for my bro. In the pen, doing 10, do it all. Finna creep, finna crawl, finna leap, finna fall. Then I'm out for the round. Battleground sound, then I always be battleground. Know what I'm saying? Battleground. Know what I'm saying? Battleground. Know what I'm saying?
Gotta get the verse to the boys in the blue. Still locked up, keep it back. And a few my niggas Smiley in the Malibu, jamming the scoop. Got an 8-town pop song, what it do? Let me keep it stepping to the day that I'm gone. Kinda knock me out, but I'm still rolling on. Lean in the phone, so I took it to the dome. Block stay hot, but I still swing home. Trump's gonna pop, then I start the rain gripping. Quickly on a mission, get my pen and start pipping. Feel what I written, then the script start flipping. Blue be dripping, but the boy ain't crippin'. Crooked ass cops, send me cruise in the block. Rolling the buggy, now I'm sitting on stock. 7 days a week and 24 around the clock. Still hold it down for the battleground flock.
Gripping grain, blowing Jane, switching lanes every day. Where I stay in the Ville, on the real. What's the deal? What's the plan? It's the bam, got a gram, got a pump, and it's rough and it's tough, but I can't get enough.